Hola y buenas tardes. I thought I'd go live right here. A lot of times I do my Real Mexico videos. I know I look ridiculous in this helmet, right? But I'm like, if I'm going to be riding my bicycle, bicicleta, y filming with la camera, I'm like, I'll wear the helmet and I'll look goofy just in case I like take a tumble, right? So thought I'd do a Real Mexico video for you guys here. I'm visiting over in Tequisquiapan, Mexico today. You're gonna see these streets, and they're just lined with shops up and down the streets. There's probably 5 to 10 times more stores in a town than you would see in the US because of so much less regulation, which means less overhead, of course. And so, you know, you still have big stores, but there is vastly less little stores in the States, right? The mom and pop shops don't really make it because the taxation and the control and the regulation. And so here a man can literally just like build a little cart on the back of his motorcycle and go start selling food. And it you know it's good food based on the fact that everybody's gathering around that cart, right? And when everybody's around that cart, you're like, that's a good place. See, in the States, we have pretend safety. You know, if a restaurant, you don't actually get to see the filthy conditions your food is being made in, as long as they play the game of like the health code department and get the checklist checked off. The FDA, the government, the health departments, they don't care about the your health. They just care about controlling the situation. The police are far nicer here. It's not even close. Hang on, I'm gonna boost myself and get out around the corner here. This car is just stopped. People just like park in the middle of the road, like whatever. There's a pizza place. There's a taqueria. Taquerias are good. Let me show you guys Pastor. Pastor is muy bien. Let's go get a Pastor taco. Nice little taqueria going on here. So let's see. Dos Pastor? Pastor is cerdo. It's go ahead. It's okay. And they barbecue it. So they stack it on there. You'll see a pineapple on top, and you'll see this kind of open flame propane barbecue, and they cook it up, and then they shave it off, and they make these amazing street tacos out of it, which are very, very good. So the neat thing about the street food is it's just simple and wholesome and not artificial, and it's really something you can appreciate. So I'm gonna get a couple of tacos here. We're gonna check that out. But there is the panaderias. There's a panaderia right across the street over there, and right over here is a panaderia. Panaderia is a bread shop, and the baked goods are just amazing, and you'll get a cookie for like 5 cents there, right? Because they're just very economical. So the panaderias are really cool. And the tacos, the pastries, there's good pizza too. But sometimes, in my opinion, they make their pizza crust too sweet and thick. So I tend to hunt out the more traditional, like, East Coast style pizza, the thin crust, things like that. And yes, you can find it. I found not too far from here a really great guy pizza place where the guy had lived in New York for like 15 years, and he does these pizzas, and these amazing large thin crust pizzas are like $7 with all the trimmings, and they're super cool. So let's see here. Just this around again while I wait for my tacos. I think they're making them, and it's probably kind of loud on the street. Dos tacos, sí? Dos? Yeah, dos pastor. Sí, sí. You see, sí. You didn't understand me the first time. My Spanish is getting better, but mi español es muy pobre. So lo siento for mi español, and gracias por su paciencia. If you want neighborliness, Latin America is the place for it. Not just Mexico, but they're just so much more friendly. They're so much less hostile. Even among their own political parties and factions, they're not constantly hating and fighting, and it's not like that. They know that I've never met a Mexican that didn't know that Trump was a thug, right? They know that he's a thug, But they say the same about their own president. They're less distracted, I think, because they're more in reality. They haven't become just this socialist fascist nation that says we want our socialism, so therefore abuse the immigrants so they can't take our free stuff, right? But anyways, I've been down here for like 3 months now. I left the United States because I was done tolerating. I was no longer willing to show up in courtrooms and be molested, to have my phone forcibly unlocked by prosecuting attorneys, and they were trying to force me to unlock my phone so they could root around and or plant evidence. They were stealing my property. They were trying to put me in prison, and frankly, it was to the point where it was not safe in the United States anymore because of my human rights activism and standing up. And so you got to know when to get out, guys, because the USA is going down. But yeah, I would encourage you guys, anybody. It's very inexpensive down here. I mean, if you time it right, you can get a flight down to Central Mexico for probably round trip for like $150 a person. And when you get here, you'll find a very welcoming people, very economical to go places down here. And I would say get out and enjoy real Mexico, not Cancun, right? I mean, you could go there, but go to the real places and meet the real people, and just you know, get out there and see things. Here's a little shop right next door. And again, remember I talked about small shops? So here's a little shop that's just selling oil and car parts. There's a little mechanic, and you can see they're working on cars, but this is just a little place right on the street, right? You have little places just tucked away all over the place, and even down to the point of muchas gracias, to the point of shops and tucked in little 3x3 foot corners and stuff like that. So here, let's go get a taco here. Yeah. Now that, guys, that's a taco. Here's cilantro with onions. Let's do a little bit of that. You notice they put a little slice of that pineapple that they used in the roasting of it. Limons. Muy bien. They really know how to do their combination of sweet, salty, and spicy down here. This is like guacamole, but it's also hot sauce. So I use a little because I'm a lightweight, all right? This is probably salt, which I probably don't need, but why not some more onions and cilantro just because we can, okay? Yeah, now this is a taco, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat one of these tacos, all right? But you know my thing about just eating in front of you. So I'm gonna eat behind the camera, and you can look at the taco that's left, okay? ¿Están listo? Sí. All right, so let's see. We're gonna make this quick, and then we'll move on. It's just a snack, because Sandra's making dinner, right? Hang on. That, my friends, that's a real taco. That is not something that you get at Taco Bell. Okay? So okay, it's gone. Normally I would eat more than that, but I don't want to spoil dinner. So I'll probably make dinner when we get back home once we're done here. So, hang on. Mi paga. Muy rico, gracias. ¿Cuánto? 16. ¿Mande? 16. 16. So, let me see here. Hang on. Here we go. The cost for those two was 16 pesos. That is about 75 cents for those two tacos. All right. And yeah, I mean, if you could like smuggle those tacos fresh into the USA, because real tacos are pretty much illegal there. Gracias. Whoopsies. Okay, so por propinas. Gracias. Gracias, señor. Hang on, let me put everything away here and we'll keep moving. All right. Those are so good. I actually want more. But self-control, right? Self-control is a good thing. Self-control in all things. All right, amazing tacos. Let's go over to the panaderia. Let me see. I mean, you know what? I can probably just walk straight across here. There's no such thing as jaywalking in Mexico. They're not into the idea. That was made up. Jaywalking was invented by corporations in the US that sold cars in the early days to try and get people off the streets. It's a construct, and now they use it to arrest and fine and kill people in the USA. But there's no such thing as jaywalking here. You cross the street and you attempt to do so without getting run over. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. Let's go see about some pastries, all right? In La Panaderia. I'm just gonna take the bike inside here. Never have a complaint. Bikes are very common here. Let me show you guys around. It's right here. Okay. Let's grab one of these. Hola, buenas tardes. Now let me just show you. Look at this. Okay, here we go. These look good. These are Hawaiian with cheese, right? So that's very good. I'm gonna look around before I choose. What you do is you just take a big tray, and it's just an open place, and you grab your rolls, and there's croissants, cake, other cake, donuts. There's donuts, those look good. And these, I'm gonna get some of these. They didn't have these last time. I don't know what these are called. Somebody tell me if you know what these are called, but these things are stinking delicious. They're like these cream-filled little horns, and they're really good. There's a cake shop right there next door. Cookies. These cookies are like 1 peso a piece. And those look good right there. Look at all them guys. So yeah, 1 peso would be like, dang, 5 cents a piece? Yeah, the cookies are a peso. So all of these are 1 peso each. So $1 would get you, I don't know, 20 of those. Yeah. Cannolis, thank you. Thought that was right. I've heard that term before. And then over here we have bread. Okay. And there's just a bin that they load up those are the generic rolls, and then they have some of the fancier ones up top. So I'm just gonna go around and we will do a little, hang on, I'm gonna try and hold the camera in the tray. This is hard, guys, okay? Bear with me here. Okay, let's see what we got here. The cannolis. Cannolis, very good. Okay. Get a bunch of those. And lots of cookies. Let's load up on cookies. The kids will like those. So cookies. Other cookies. Other cookies. Moss cookies. Chocolate sprinkle cookies. Color sprinkle cookies. Look at these guys. These look cool, right? All right. Let's see here. What else? I told you this video was just, these are good. These are like jelly-filled little torts, and they are very good. I'm pretty much going to take everything they have on those because they're good. They're liquid. Okay, these are interesting little guys here. These little powdery ones. They're like a crunchy kind of a. I don't quite know how to describe these, but they are very good. Get a bunch of those, and let's see. We will get some. What is this? I think this says. I think these are maybe pineapple ham and cheese. I don't know for sure, but we're gonna try a few because they're probably amazing. I mean, let's be honest, there's chocolate ones, there's vanilla ones. I'm sure they're good. These look like sticky buns. I came late when I was here not too long ago, and they didn't have as much stuff, but there's a ton of it now. And thanks, guys. I'm kind of seeing comments, but I'm also kind of trying to pick out some stuff here. More donuts. Let's get a couple of those. This looks like maybe banana bread. I think this is strawberry bread, actually. Okay, so let's grab some of that. Croissants. Those are always good. Okay, and what else? Flip the camera again. Get to see what I'm looking at here. Cake. I'm gonna skip the cake because the frosting will get all over the place. So I'll stick with like the things that are a little easier to manage. Let's get, these are probably a banana, I'm guessing. Platano. And I think we're good. Let's go pay. See how much let me show you what I got here and we'll see how much it costs. Okay, so I got a tray. I haven't been counting, I've just been like loading it up with stuff, so. Okay. Gotta wait in line. I'll show you, give you a close up here. So yeah, this is common here. I mean, this is just panaderia. There's probably 3 or 4 of these in a town. And this is just, you know, this is how you get stuff. You can go to the supermarket and they'll have the larger supermarkets, but there's just, because economics flow here so much better, because of much less restriction and regulation and tyranny, people just open shops. And if they're good at what they do, the shop will do well. So it's very good. Okay, I'm gonna pay. Those actually look pretty amazing right there. I'm gonna get one of those too. Hang on. All right. Hola, ¿cómo está? Okay, hold on, guys, while I see what the damage is. Okay, so now you just fill your tray up, and then they will bag everything and wrap it accordingly. And the nice shops will make it all pretty. Hola, niños.
Hola.
¿Cómo está?
Bien.
Muy bien. Say hola to mi compadres. They're like, who's the weirdo with the live streaming that can't even speak the language, right? Okay, so you guys saw how much we got there. You can guess how much it will cost, all right, for all these pastries we got, I don't know how I'm gonna carry all these. Maybe we can get a big bag. I'll probably have to like finish the live stream and then carry them home. Okay. And I am definitely using pesos, not dollars. Maybe right on the border towns you can use dollars, and it's not that nobody will trade them or anything, but they operate on it's pretty much a cash situation down there. So.
128.
Monday?
128.
120. Okay, 100 is 100. I think you might be right, but 150 or
128.
28 is 60?
Sí.
Okay.
Gracias.
I'll get this. I think sometimes it's hard to understand. I think that's either 60 or 70. Unless she said 128. Okay. Muchas gracias. So I got 70 back. So yeah, it was like 100 and and I gave her 200, so it was like 140. And I probably just wasn't. I'm starting to get the numbers down, but yeah. So that was. Leave a little tip there. Grande bolsa por muchas gracias.
Che, Pepe, ¿lo ponen? ¿Ahora qué? ¿Ahora qué? Mucho potato. Con permiso.
Gracias, señor. Buenas tardes. Okay, they hooked me up. I got a real bag to keep it all together. So that was about. Buenas tardes. That was about $6 for all that. All right. So I struggle. I'm starting to get the numbers down, but some of the secondary digits, and they say I'm so fast, right? Like we would in the States, 128, right? And so you'll be in a store and they're used to just rattling it off, and I'm trying to be like, oh man. So it's good. They didn't scam me. I got a bargain, and it's all good. And yeah, seeing 100 is seeing. So it was seeing, and I just couldn't tell what else she was saying. But honestly, I mean, everybody's like, oh, they'll scam you. I don't know, maybe if you go to like Cabo or Cancun or something. But generally I find like, usually it's me that doesn't care about a few pesos, and they're going out of their way to make sure that I know that they're not scamming me. Sure, there's people that will. There's people that'll try and take advantage of you, a few extra pesos. But the reality is, I usually leave them a few extra anyhow. So yeah, so I don't know. I think I got probably about 2 dozen little cookies, bread, a bunch of cake, and muffins. I probably got at least 30 or 40 things there, and the total was $6 or less. So we did good. We did just fine. 75 cents for tacos, but I gave them 10 pesos for a tip, you know. But, oh, there's some more cyclists. They like their cycling here. Look at that. There they go. Oh, they're disappeared now. All right, you can see the night coming on. All these taco shops are going to be booming. And people are just going to be chilling out here, walking the streets, hanging out at the taco shops. Very safe. Very muy tranquilo would be the word, I believe. And yeah. So, you know, you can live down here. I've had people ask me, like, how much to live down here if I had, like, a camper. And you could live good down here. You can honestly, you can rent, like, a 4-bedroom house down here, you know, have a car and the whole works for probably $1,000, $1,200 a month. So, like, for people retiring down here and stuff, it's great. But if you just want to come down here and have a trip, you know, I mean, you come down here for a couple weeks with $1,000 and you're going to be able to just really enjoy yourself and see the sights. Especially if you stay out of like the gringo tourist areas where the goal is, you know, to get more gringo level monies. Even those places are going to be cheaper. But all right, I'm gonna sign off because it's busy, it's getting late, and I don't really want the last thing you see on my live streams to be me getting run over. I'll look at the stream here for a minute, and yes, my bike is right here. I do keep an eye on that because no matter where you are, bikes get stolen, especially nice ones. So I know we got trolls everywhere. I've been trying to block them. YouTube always changes the parameters for how the blocking works, and people are. The problem is, here's the real deal with the trolls. They're cowards and they're jealous because they're afraid to stand up and be anything but slaves, and it's either that or they're just working for the enemy and they're loyalists and they're trying to uphold a system that's unsustainable and that is going to collapse. The USA has no freedom, it has no law, its police are blue ISIS, they're terrorists, and it's crazy. Hey, I just got word from Kelly Stewart that the final tier of the Bundy trials, the other Bundys, that we're going to go to trial, and they've been dismissed with prejudice, so all of the Bundy trials now are over. Except that, don't forget, there's still a lot of people in prison, not just the Bundys, but people from all walks all over the nation because of blue ISIS, and it's good. Praise the Lord for that. But the bad news is the prosecution is trying to get the mistrial and dismissal overturned for Ammon and Ryan Bundy and bring them back to trial yet again. That's how insane our country is. So it's never over, and because people won't stop hating their neighbor and the immigrant and the the party next door because they won't stand up to blue ISIS. We have no freedom, and the USA is not going to have freedom until it, if ever, it collapses and rises from the ashes. All right. So, I mean, yeah, the Hammond, Schaefer Cox, Jeff Winehouse, all these people, and all the people who may have done some misdeed but were never given a fair trial are still locked away in prisons. Largest prison population in the world. The USA is, and its police, the Blue ISIS is the #1 terrorist organization in the USA, and they kill more people and they hospitalize more people. And so while people are distracted by things like, oh no Muslims, oh no immigrants, right? It's BS. That's not what's destroying the USA. Our hate, our fascism, racism, all that. Hey, awesome White Magic. You guys check out the shirts. I did make a short link, and so the new Blue ISIS gear, the apparel, stickers, mugs, the whole works. Bit.ly. Sorry, I'm distracting you. He's like looking at the crazy gringo, and he almost fell, because sometimes the curbs are literally like 2 feet tall here, right? So, anyways, bit.ly/BlueIsis2 is the store overview for all the new merch for the channel here. And our first product is the Resist Blue ISIS merchandise. It's very good. Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo está?
Bien, esperando el micro.
Bien. Lo siento, mi español es muy pobre. All right, so anyways, yeah, I mean, you can totally, you'll see people's kids running around the streets, the mothers, the daughters. So there's all this propaganda like, oh, Mexico is so terrible. And are there some shady places? Absolutely. Is there some violent places? Sure. But in general, there's less theft, less rape, less kidnapping. The murder rate is up because of the U.S. created drug war, and so it's kind of high. Not in a town like this. I mean, in the areas where it's centralized around. So just like in the U.S., you don't go to downtown Chicago, and just wander around. There are places where you want to be careful, like Acapulco, and some of them, and the locals down here, they really don't like the drug war and all the politics because it really damages their tourism. But you know what they really scoff at is the propaganda and how pathetic and terrified people from the USA are of Mexico and our borders and just the ridiculousness of it all. Of course, it's unconstitutional. It's a violation of human rights. But yeah, I mean, people are very friendly here. If you need help, you can expect them to help you. And unlike the myths where people are like, oh, they're poor, they're going to try and squeeze you for everything you can get, sometimes you're hard pressed to get them to take money for things. I mean, they just genuinely want to help. And most of them, is there going to be people that take advantage? Absolutely. So we've been going for like a half hour on lots of random things. We went to the taqueria, we went to the panaderia. I just showed you the streets. It's kind of getting dark now, and there's lots of room for improvement. There's still corrupt politicians in Mexico, but their prison population per capita is about a quarter. Their police are not allowed to murder people on the side of the road and get away with it. Everything is not restricted to a permit or a permission, or you go to jail. And the idea that you would be executed by a cop for having a suspended driver's license and running away in Mexico is absolutely ludicrous. What I showed in my video last night, all the people involved in that would already be charged with murder and its related crimes because that's what they did. How's racism in Mexico? I think there is racism in that, and not toward, they're actually surprisingly welcoming of gringos, and considering how we treat them like garbage in our country, and it's disgusting, and I'm always apologizing for my country because it's an embarrassment to the world. They treat us very respectfully, and in general, the culture is still very warm and welcoming. There is a little bit of racism from some people as you go further south, right? So the poor, as you go further south, the countries tend to be a little poorer, right? Hey, Jose. So if you, all right, man, take a look. If you look to the southern countries and the immigrants from there, they might get abused a bit more. I mean, the locals actually talk about it. The people from here, it's offensive to them that the government sometimes treats them more abusively, and they don't like it because it's in conflict with what's culturally acceptable here. So they don't actually, most of the people don't actually really approve of abuses that happen, sometimes more on the poorer people from the further Latin American countries or at borders. It's still nothing like the USA. I've actually talked to a guy that's been deported from the USA and Mexico, and he was just blown away by how abusive we were. He's like, it was nothing like this. They don't treat you like filth, even if you get in trouble and you have to leave. And he had come back, and so it was sad because there's still more restrictions than there should be, and a lot of those are actually funded and promoted by the U.S. because they want to validate the abuses they do by having other countries do the same. But he said it was still completely different. So somebody asked, "Oh, how long can you stay here?" As long as you want. It's not a big deal. If you want to be if you want to have the papers and be completely legit, you can come here and get a visa. Pretty much just walk to the border. You are supposed to have a passport, so they might fuss at you if you don't do that, depending on where you come in. If you come in like in Sonora, honestly, if you just want to come in for the weekend, you don't even have to stop at immigration. Like, you just kind of roll through, and there's like the initial immigration area that's pretty casual, but you don't even have to stop and get your papers because they want you to just come in and be welcome for the tourism. If you go outside of that state, you're supposed to actually get a visitor visa, which costs like $20. It's just a money-making thing. You just fill out the paperwork and they give it to you. There are people who stay here permanently on the visitor visas, and they just go out of the country every 6 months and then pop back in and get a new visa. So technically it's not supposed to work that way, but it's totally common. I mean, there's literally people that live here and do that. If you want to truly be permanent, you can get annual permanent residency, which does have some income requirements. Or if somebody's like retiring, if they're retiring here and have like $100,000 in their bank account, they can pretty much come here and just get permanent residency and be good to go. So it's nothing like, people don't realize that in the USA, Mexicans aren't even allowed to come visit without going through huge amounts of red tape. We are truly psychotic. Blue ISIS, the Border Patrol, the Judiciary, the Congress, they're all the same terrorists. So, I think my visa was like 400 pesos. But no, you don't have to get a 90. Oh yeah, for 90 days probably. So it was like 450 pesos for a 6-month visa if you want to do it that way. And so that you have some options. But if you just want to come in and visit, it's super easy. Show up, get a passport, despite the fact that we shouldn't have to have them, unless you're wanting to be an activist on that front. If you don't want to fight every battle, it's honestly, the borders are being shut down. There's exit checks that's coming to the U.S. There's already exit checkpoints that are manned sometimes to leave your own country, and it's interesting how bad it's getting. And I always say, even though you shouldn't have to have a passport, probably get one, because the day may come when it could save your life if you need to, not raise attention and get out of the country fast and become an American refugee. Because in the next 10, 20 years, I expect there's going to be millions and millions of American refugees. And I'm hoping that we can set an example and that the people of Mexico and Latin America do not treat us with the same evil that we have treated them with our illegal border immigration restrictions and our abuse, our denials of due process, our deportations. It's fine to have a border and protect your city and monitor and make sure you're not invaded by an army, but you have no right to stop somebody from walking across a line. The land is for everyone. It's for beneficial use. The roads are for everyone. They're for beneficial use. And you have no right, unless you suspect somebody of committing crime, to hola, buenas noches, to molest them, to search them, period. That's human rights. It's the Constitution, which grants no authority over immigration to the government. And so anyways, it's getting dark. I'm gonna probably wind down for tonight. It's there's all kinds of bustling going on, but I don't really want to ride holding the camera and holding the donuts in the dark, and I still got some work to do. So there's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. It's a non-existent law. It's actually an illegal law. The problem is, the worst time to be an activist for that is when you are the immigrant, right? So we should be standing up for the people of Mexico when they immigrate, and they shouldn't be molested, and they should be standing up for us when we immigrate. That's called loving your neighbor. And so anyone that's promoting people being arrested or deported because they don't have a paper to be a human being, just call them out what they are. They're a fascist, they're an anti-patriot, they're socialists, and that's really what it's all about, is just their fake social programs and their freebies. And so I know we always come back to this topic, right? But when you're talking about real Mexico, you got to talk about how different it is, how they treat people different. And it's very interesting how different it is. Yes, there's corruption. but it's not the same. And even dealing with the cops, right? If a cop walks up and talks to me, do I still film? Yes. But he's not like a hopped up, drugged out psychopath that I'm afraid is going to kill me. Is there taxation that's corrupt? Sure. Is there regulations that are corrupt? Sure. The thing is, the federal government doesn't get away with just putting everybody in prison for nothing here. It's not, even like, the gun laws are bad here, but you talk to the locals and they're like, yeah, just ignore that. We just get a gun, right? I'm not saying you should try and bring one in as a tourist. I'm just saying that it's completely different. Whereas in the States, you can literally serve life in prison for having the wrong kind of gun at the wrong time, because there is a Second Amendment, but you really have no gun rights anymore in terms of how the courts recognize it. In Mexico, there's gun laws that are bad, and yet the idea of going to prison, I know people that have gone through the feds have come and they've seen that they had federally illegal guns, and they're like, oh, you can't have those. And he's like, yes, I can, and you're not confiscating them. And he left, and it was no big deal, right? And this guy's pretty bold. But anyways, yeah. So William, thank you. And yes, the Bundy retrial, any retrial, if you have a hung jury, if you have an acquittal, they would say it's not a double jeopardy. The illegal courts would, because the trial was never completed. But jeopardy actually begins when it all begins, right? If you have to hire a lawyer and go to trial twice, you're definitely in jeopardy. Your property is in jeopardy. Your life is in jeopardy. It's absolute insanity to say that that's not double jeopardy. So this retrial isn't confirmed. The lawyers, even though the case was dismissed, the lawyers are trying to get approval to do a retrial. And here's people on the bus. And hola! Buona noche! So, it's YouTube. They all know what YouTube is, and Instagram and Facebook. All right, so I think we'll go, guys. The roads are bumpy, and if I start riding, it's going to be bumpy, and I'm going to be with one hand, and there's traffic everywhere. Because as you can see, when night hits, the nightlife comes alive here, and Mexicans know how to party. And this is a weeknight. And when I say know how to party, I don't mean that they're all out, drunk and lascivious. They certainly drink. But I just mean even they're family oriented. They get together, they invite you over, they have food, and it's good. So, all right, thanks, Peter. Appreciate it, and appreciate your guys' support, and you throwing out the little super chats in the live stream to support, us doing more of these videos. Check out the new merch. You guys are going to like it, I think, if you want to speak out against the terrorism and stand up and have a conversation-starting message that's principled. If you want something that's better than an F the police shirt, and you want something where you can start a conversation that's about the core of the message, go over and check out the new Resist Blue ISIS merchandise. We've got a lot of cool products, from stickers to shirts and stuff, and you guys are going to like it. So bit.ly is the short link, is bit.ly/blueisis2. Will take you kind of to the store overview, and there's some really sweet stuff in there. So it kind of supports my work and my design work, but also I think you guys are going to like the message. Well, that's another thing that they're legalizing here is marijuana. I'm not into getting high myself, but I know there's tons of medicinal value for it. I think it was last year they legalized it, and true legalization would be deregulating entirely, because the government has no business in it. But I believe last year they said, no, it's okay for medical stuff. And it looks like, I was reading some articles, it looks like this year it's going to be opened up for pretty much all uses, which is good. Hopefully that'll take a bite out of the drug war. All the drug war stuff should stop. It's not that getting high or cocaine or heroin or anything like that is good. It's that the government has no right to restrict plants and what people eat. Even if it's bad for them. Tina, appreciate it if you guys want to support the channel that way. It's paypal.me/Seim. Paypal.me/Seim, Seim. So, all right, guys, just kind of a real cash live stream. I hope I showed you something new about Real Mexico. I'm hoping I can go do some paragliding soon. There's some amazing paragliding sites down here. I'm trying to work hard this week and maybe get ahead a little and go out for a day or two and maybe go down to one of the paragliding sites. Peter, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the kindness and the words and all that. Like, subscribe, share, and oppose tyranny, oppose blue ISIS, and oppose, with love, speak out against your fascist friends and neighbors and families that support unconstitutional regulations and the police state and illegal immigration restrictions, which is all of them, and documenting human beings and for-profit prisons and all that good stuff. Glad we got our live stream working again. Sebastian, thank you. Shout out to Denmark. And I'm sorry I don't get a chance to shout out to all you guys, because if you do a live stream that's all shout outs, I'm basically just shouting out the whole time. And yeah, so all right, I'm gonna go. It's getting late. Peace.